James Charles was spotted with a guy at Coachella, and now things are getting messy online. Before I get into the tea, I just want to put out a disclaimer. Please do not send any hate to James, Gage, or anyone else involved in this story. This video is simply meant to report on the news and give some insight on the situation. On April 17th, one of James Charles' fans tweeted out screenshots that showed James getting cozy with a guy at Coachella. James replied to the fan, "Nope, unfortunately, I am still very single. This boy played me for months on end and is a disgusting con artist. I'm thankful I had my friends with me to protect me." James deleted the tweet soon after posting it. Fans started digging and soon discovered the guy's identity. He's a male model named Gage Gomez. Fans started attacking him in his Instagram comments. "You user! This boy really out here trying to suck as much clout of James as he possibly can, LMAO. Imagine being such an who uses others for their own benefits. Thank God James Charles dumped you." But other people were defending Gage. All the James Charles fans need to calm the down. James should have kept that info private and between you two. He knew what he was doing when he dragged you on Twitter for all his fans to bully, you know? Immature in my opinion. And someone said people shouldn't jump to conclusions. Y'all are so quick to judge and swear you know the whole story because of one tweet. Get off Gage's and stop jumping to conclusions. Y'all can defend whoever you want, whether it be James, Gage, etc. But y'all take it too far acting like you were there knowing the whole story. Literally, bye. One person shared a screenshot that appeared to be a leaked text from one of Gage's family friends. He told him that James invited him out to Coachella for the weekend and he could stay with him and his friends and chill with them for the weekend. That's why he had the unreleased merchandise and stuff like that. But he said that he just used James for clout basically, and that he's straight and has a girlfriend in the city, and they've been dating for 6 months. Someone confronted Gage in his DMs. Denial isn't pretty. Tell your side of the story, cause for someone who said they aren't bothered, clearly you are. Gage replied, "I mean, I wasn't until he attacked me on Twitter with a very one-sided statement. You can post this saying I will be making a response from my side of the story, because what he said was extremely butchered and not the truth at all, because I was super honest and clear with James when I was there, and he kept telling me he appreciated it a lot because most boys straight up fake and then lie, which is not what I did, and he knows that." On April 18th, Gage posted a 2-minute long YouTube video explaining his side of the situation. He addressed the tweet James posted and deleted.
There was a tweet made about me and it was slanderous, bashful, and skewed from the truth. The person who made this tweet obviously realized that. Maybe if they didn't realize that, they understood that it was aggressive and maybe the wrong thing to do, and they deleted it.
And he shared a screenshot of part of a text message James sent him. "Shouldn't have tweeted earlier and I deleted it, and I apologize. I was angry because my followers clearly have caught on, which is exactly what I didn't want." Gage ended the video by saying he wasn't a clout chaser because he hasn't posted any photos of or with James. Shortly after Gage posted the video, he did an Instagram live to answer questions. Someone asked him, "Single or taken?" Gage responded,
"I was taken, but I got dumped."
Later on, he was reading out more comments.
You know who I'm not surprised that is, or I'm surprised that is not in here? Someone by the little name of, I'm not gonna say it. Starts with a J and starts with John.
However, it's not clear if the comments were about James. Then, on April 29th, Gage uploaded a second video on his YouTube channel called "What Really Went Down Between Me and James Charles." He said he received a DM from James in January 2019 and he responded as a friend. Gage said he would skip over a lot of details and he jumped straight to James's alleged harassment. Gage said,
James then saw this as an opportunity to manipulate me as a person who may or may not have been trying to figure things out about their sexuality after the fact of telling him that I was straight multiple times.
According to Gage, James started putting pressure on Gage and ignoring Gage telling James that he was straight.
Because as you all know, this person 99.9, maybe even 100% of the time goes after heterosexual men. I told James I wasn't interested in any of that.
Gage then told a story about how James had come to New York City and wanted to get together. Gage told James he was busy and couldn't hang out. Then, James's flight got delayed and asked Gage again if he wanted to hang out, and Gage said he couldn't.
He then proceeded to get mad at me for not clearing my schedule. He went off on social media, first of all, he blocked me on everything. Went off on social media, and this is the first time that I was subtweeted about.
Gage then showed the tweet he was talking about. Pretty boys always have the ugliest personalities. Gage said that throughout their conversations, James was aware of Gage's feelings.
He was aware how I felt about him. He constantly kept telling me that he appreciated that I was always 100% honest with him. I was never lying to him. It was always how I felt at the time, and he knew that.
After the New York City incident, Gage said James kept blocking and unblocking him on social media for small things, not responding to a Snapchat or not answering a FaceTime call. Then, Gage said James invited him to Coachella and Gage turned him down twice.
After I said no, he got mad again and blocked me on everything.
They didn't speak for a few weeks, but then Gage reached out to James and said he wanted to go to Coachella after all.
So I ended up going to Coachella, right? Because I thought it was going to be a good time. And it was. It was an awesome weekend. Hung out with all of them. It was a blast.
Gage talked about some points where James was unsure of Gage's feelings and allegedly tried to manipulate him.
I guess he was not sure how I was feeling, even though I was telling him the whole time I wasn't into, I guess you could say, experimenting at that time. He proceeded to get extremely upset with me because of that and kind of tried to play his emotions and push his emotions onto me to kind of guilt me into trying something that I didn't want to do.
At the end of the Coachella weekend, after Gage had left, James's friends apparently told James they thought Gage was using him. James then tweeted, "Real friends will tell you the truth no matter how much it hurts." Gage ends the video by saying that influencers get involved in scandals to drive engagement.
All of these scandals drive more engagement and more revenue, just capital on top of capital.
People had a mixed reaction to the video. Some people believe Gage was in the wrong. I think a lot of people are missing the fact that Gage is a self-proclaimed IG model, so he was coming off on this video as if he is a regular person that doesn't need to chase clout, and he's full of Gage uses James's name in a video title and gets salty in the description. Also, Gage refuses to say James's name in the video like he's trying to keep it respectful and a secret. Also, Gage times 2. You can say that I'm just trying to join the scandals for clout, but I'm not. But a lot of people were disturbed by James's alleged behavior. To be honest, the way Gage was speaking about how James kept pushing him to do something he wasn't interested in or placing him in a suggestive context, that's harassment, plain and simple. No matter if it's male-male, female-female, or male-female, it's illegal. We don't know if the arms or hand-holding were forced by James for looks, or if Gage felt forced in public in front of fans and didn't want to cause a huge scene and not be believed. It's sad to see Gage be dragged for his honesty when we know James lies. Please, let's just cancel James Charles already. He's a whole predator trying to turn straight guys gay by being persistent, and then throws a tantrum when he's told no. No means no, James. Poor Gage. And some people call James out for his constant tweeting and deleting. The vague tweeting, the tweet and deleting, etc. are extremely harmful for the people he's hinting at. People either find out anyways, or they go on a witch hunt and do more harm than good. I think he does it on purpose to anyone he doesn't like. The explanation or apology for deleting just draws more attention to the drama. I feel like tweeting and deleting is so insidious too. Like, oops, I didn't mean to angrily send people your way, at least I deleted. You can't be mad if I deleted. Meanwhile, the harassment has begun and people are already threatening your life. In his video, Gage talked about James going for straight guys. He even included this clip from a video James did with Nikita Dragun where he talked about a relationship with someone else.
We also have very similar taste.
Straight guys too.
Hot,
Masculine.
straight.
Several people called James out for going after straight guys in the past when the Gage situation happened. Stop being a creep by chasing people who are not interested in you, let alone sometimes your gender. It really seems like he goes after straight guys knowing that they're just experimenting with him, and then he holds it over their heads when they don't want anything more. I wish he would at least stop putting his "I only go after straight guys" business out there, because it's not funny or cute. It's really disturbing to me that James is attracted to straight guys and thinks it's okay to try to push straight guys into being romantic with him. The way he talks about wanting to turn straight men reminds me of the really gross way that straight men talk about turning lesbians. And it's important to mention that James does have a history of being attracted to and flirting with straight guys. He's had a very public crush on Jeff Wittick, a YouTuber and member of the Vlog Squad. And James even had him on his channel in a video called "The Truth, My Crush Does My Makeup," where he says at the very beginning,
Jeff is a straight man.
here are some snippets of their interactions during the video.
You did flirt with me in that video.
I'm just being sarcastic though.
No. Have you ever hooked up with a guy before?
No.
You should try it sometime.
No, I can't.
Then I said, I'm just bad at only flirting with straight guys who are interested, and he said, no, you're doing great.
James has also flirted publicly with singer Shawn Mendes. Between 2016 and 2018, James has left suggestive comments on Shawn's Instagram and Twitter accounts. Here are some of the tweets. Will you marry me? Love you, daddy legend. Burn me with that scorching hot tea, daddy. On October 2nd, 2018, Shawn Mendes did an Instagram live where he juggled and responded to fans' comments. James commented, "Can you juggle me like that?" Soon after James left that comment, Shawn abruptly ended the Instagram live, and fans thought it was because of the comment. In a secret session for Shawn's album that happened a few days before the live, a fan who was there said Shawn told her he didn't like James. He talked about James at the secret session. He doesn't like him. OMG, did he? Yup, haha. He's like, that dude is always commenting weird on my posts. Then, on October 4th, James tweeted, "My comments on Friends and Boys content have always been lighthearted and in a joking manner. I've been supporting Shawn Mendes since Vine and am a fan like anyone else, and would never want to make anyone uncomfortable. I'm upset, embarrassed, and sorry if he felt harassed." One of Shawn's fans replied, "Thank you for apologizing." The comment at the secret session was taken out of context, and he didn't say he didn't like you. People are just upset because, well, it isn't the first time you've done this, and it's not exactly the best thing to open Instagram to. A few hours later, James tweeted, "Thank you so much, Shawn Mendes, for clearing everything up. Love you the most." Attached to the tweet was a screenshot that showed Shawn sending James a DM. "Hey James, sorry about all this. I've never said I don't like you or that you make me uncomfortable. Your comments actually make me laugh and I love them. Hope you're all good." On May 1st, a large influencer sent screenshots of private messages between James and Gage to several drama channels, including Rich Lux, T-Spill, and The Viewer's Voice. There are a lot of messages, so I'll only highlight the most important ones and summarize what I can. If you want to read the full messages, other drama channels have great videos showing everything. I'll leave some of them linked down below. When Gage left after Coachella, James wrote him a long email, sharing his thoughts about the weekend. James said he was glad Gage came to Coachella and he was happy they got to meet in person and get closure on some things. Even though he said he didn't feel good about everything that happened, he appreciated Gage being transparent about his feelings. James then told Gage that his friends told him they thought Gage was using him. After months of opportunities you had to fly out but being too busy studying at school, which I know is a lie by the way, who lies about the college they go to? You chose the one weekend that you knew I was looking forward to and took advantage of the fact that I've given you so many second chances. I understand you had a few days off from school, but it doesn't sit well with me. James also described a moment where he had an emotional breakdown and he appreciated that Gage was there for him, but I can't help but think that you would have never kissed me this weekend if I hadn't actually had a breakdown like that. Also, literally no one has a phobia of tongues. I didn't expect anything physical to happen with you this weekend, but I truly believe that nothing at all would have ever happened between us, and touching lips was your way to keep me satisfied just enough to make me believe that you were actually interested without pushing your limits. James said he noticed that when they were alone, Gage didn't want to be touched, but when they were around a celebrity or influencer, Gage would wrap his arm around him and touch him, and the only time Gage would lean in to kiss him was when he was filming a close friend's Instagram story. Here's that story. Back to the email. James said, "I've explained to you before why me interacting or being seen with you on social media is actually a big deal because fans catch on and notice little details, and they definitely did. You took a million photos of me and my friends this weekend, and I know you said you weren't going to post them, and you didn't, but what you did post and how you were strategically choosing your times of when to be seen with me definitely worked." He added, "If your real reasoning for coming was to make things right with me, it would have been nice to see you unplug for the weekend to prove that you were really there for me, rather than the experience of being seen with someone famous at Coachella VIP." James also listed a few things Gage allegedly did that made people uncomfortable, asking about social media followers, telling Joel he would borrow clothes instead of asking, taking people's food without asking, and trying to drink at Coachella underage with a fake ID. James called Gage selfish. "What I've gathered from being around you is that you're a very selfish person, and that sucks. I already knew that deep down from you stringing me along for months on end, but seeing you in person, it is apparent too. Everything has shown me that you never did care about me and still don't, and are disguising that by asking for more time to think about your feelings." And he said that after 5 months of FaceTime calls and 4 days in person with someone, there is no excuse for confusion. James added that while he understood the situation was new and feelings were difficult to put into words, Gage has had plenty of time to figure out his feelings. And the human brain and sexuality tells you very quickly if you're into something or you're not. Gage replied to James's email and said he was sorry James felt the way he did. He told James he came out because he thought there might be potential for a relationship between them. I want to mention I wouldn't have came out there if I actually didn't think there was a possibility. I did try to see the same thing that you did and to keep it absolutely transparent with you. Gage explained that he didn't know what he mentioned about followers, but it was probably for context because most of the conversations revolved around Instagram followers and likes. Gage also apologized for the clothing situation with Joel and said the only time he took food was when he asked about Pop-Tarts and James's friend said anyone could have one. For the alcohol, Gage said, I asked Joel if I could have some alcohol and he insisted actually. I don't know if that was honest or not, but seemed okay to do. When we first got there, I didn't even ask for an alcohol ban. Marcus actually gave me his because they're easy to take off. If that isn't what happened, then I'm sorry for that. Gage told James that his friends were amazing and he's right to listen to them because they know what's best for him. He ended the email with another apology. I just want to say I'm sincerely sorry, but primarily thank you for the chance to figure things out. It was without a doubt the best weekend of my life with all of you. You're all amazing people, and you specifically, James. This next text message exchange took place before Gage's first video. Gage's messages are gray, James' messages are blue. In the messages, Gage tried to meet up with James in person to talk things out. James said he won't have time to meet up, and he also doesn't think it's a good idea. James added, if you have a response, I'll look forward to reading it tonight when you get out of class. Later that night, Gage said he really wants to talk in person and he'll swing by wherever he is to make it happen. James said, why should I give you the time of day? And what the are you going to tell me in 2 minutes? Gage replied, I mean, I wasn't being an I was seriously being honest with you the entire time, James. James said, I don't think you were. Gage said he went to Coachella with an open mind and tried to make things work. But James said, you went for a free Coachella ticket and did just enough to make me think you liked me. You knew you didn't want to be with me all along and you still went for a free ride. Gage denied this and James said, you're a piece of dude, and I hope that you never do this to anyone else. James added, just to clarify, you're telling me you've come to the conclusion that there's no feelings there, correct? Gage replied, what you're saying is not false, but I did not deliberately go out there to hurt you. James said, answer my question with either correct or incorrect, nothing else. Gage replied, you know I went there to meet you and find out if there was feelings, but again, I'm always being true with you and honest with you. No, there's not feelings, and that is what I found out. It's not you though. I really liked you, but I'm not attracted to men. Face-to-face closure would be nice. I'm just sorry you hate me so extremely because I never wanted you to feel like that. James said, cool, I hope you've learned from this. If I ever find out you did this to someone again, I promise that you will be sorry. Do not talk about me or post any of those photos, and please don't contact me again. The next day, James sent Gage a long message. Please do not make a video about me. I was nothing but extremely kind and generous to you for the past several months and dealt with you playing with my feelings. You knew what you were doing to me, and even if your intentions weren't malicious, they hurt me. I shouldn't have tweeted earlier and I deleted, and I apologize. I was angry because my followers clearly have caught on, and you're getting attention from hurting me. Your side is the same exact side as mine, and after everything, the fact that you still want to continue to use me for attention and followers is really scary and sad. Please allow us both to move on in peace. I will not bother you again, and I ask that you please do the same to me. Gage replied, I'm sorry you feel the way you do, but I feel really conflicted too. You blasted my name with the power and stands you know you have, and now I'm getting a ton of crap for it too. I won't make the video at all, and we can move forward if you just did as much as clear my name. I think that'll be best for both of us. You set your expectations very high, and I let you know everything about how I felt. You can't just go and spin it saying I'm a con artist and manipulator because you feel you got hurt. We had no prior relationship, man. You can't just expect me to have feelings and do all this stuff with you like that movie in your head. I'm sorry, but that's on you. James said Gage gained thousands of followers from the deleted tweet, then said, it will blow over in less than a week because people will forget and get bored. Clearing your name will give you more followers and attention, which is exactly what you want, and I will not give that to you. My tweet wasn't wrong. Posting it was. You came saying you wanted to make things right in person. You did not come saying, I'm straight, we are just friends, but I want to meet you, or I would not have said come, and you know that. You weren't interested at all the whole time, but kissed me and cuddled with me in order to make me feel comfortable around you, bring you to Coachella, follow you, and be seen with you in public, which got you the followers and attention you were looking for. James added that he may have had high expectations, but his expectations were because of Gage's words and actions. He also said he got messages from other people saying Gage used them for followers too. Gage said he understood James's perspective, but he had gotten his 122,000 followers on his own, and his account's growth wasn't really impacted by the scandal. Gage added, "The reality of the situation is that you've only broadcasted your narrative. The extent of your one-sidedness has cost me my reputation. For you to tell me to just deal with the hate is selfish and unacceptable. You've decided for me how the situation will play out by refusing to clear my name and telling me I couldn't either. The last thing I want is to drag it on, but I won't allow this one-sided narrative forced on me." James replied, "Literally, what would you say in a video? You're straight but flew to Coachella to try and see if you wanted to be with me and kissed me there? You realize that doesn't make you look great, right? And if you lie, I have all the receipts to prove it." Gage told James he'll tell the truth. He was bi-curious and exploring his sexuality. James said, "You were never curious though. You just wanted a trip to Coachella and to be seen with someone, and you know that." Gage replied, "How the hell do you know that, James? If I say I'm bi-curious, you can't just say no you're not." James said, "Because that's the only excuse you could possibly use to try and get out of this." Gage said he really was bi-curious. He would be bullied about it as jokes, and people would comment it on Instagram. James said it was suspicious that Gage decided the perfect weekend to figure out his sexuality happened to be the same weekend as Coachella. He sarcastically outlined what Gage's video would look like, painting Gage as someone who just wanted followers and attention. Gage replied, "James, you were exceptionally successful, but for you to tell me I have no reputation is kind of mean. I have friends and family back home. I know you cut everyone off back home, but I didn't. I have people too." James said, "You told me you haven't talked to your parents in a month and have 5 friends at the city college you go to. You're a compulsive liar." Gage said it's up to the audience to decide if both of their sides are the same or not, but they've only heard yours in your extreme emotional response on Twitter, not mine. "I'm sharing my truth, not bashing or exposing you, James. That's not what I want." James replied, "Why don't you address it on your story and say I'm bi-curious and wanted to experiment with my sexuality, and through doing so, I hurt someone's feelings that I did care about. We are not together and have mutually decided to leave each other alone. My fans are already following you, so they'll see it." Gage said he'll say that in his video, and James replied, "So what's the point in making an entire video? Post it on your story and move on. It's clear you want attention and followers from making a video which is going to make you look even worse." Gage told James his explanation wouldn't fit in a story. Making a video and putting it online would be easier for him. James said, "That's ridiculous and you know it. You do care about the attention or you wouldn't be making a video. You want to clear your own name and make excuses for yourself and try to make me look crazy." Gage replied, "I care about my image around my town and school, not about the ego and attention. That's what you aren't listening to me about. I don't want you to look crazy at all, James. I said I will never do that." James said it's bigger than that. "You aren't addressing your town and school. You're addressing the 100,000 people that are following you, including my fans." Gage repeated that he wants to let people decide for themselves if he's a con artist or not, but he needed to get his side out there for himself, not for attention. "This is for myself and my family and friends to stop being harassed." James replied, "You played with me for 4 months of my life, stringing me along and making me think there could be feelings, and then flew to me and spent the weekend kissing me and leading me to believe you liked me even more. You wanted attention and you got it. Why can't you be happy with that instead of making my life more miserable?" Gage said he never played with James's feelings. He was honestly curious, and he'll say that in the video. "I looked at it as openly as I can. Maybe it sent the wrong message, but I was totally honest with my feelings for you. When you said, 'Do I like you?' I said, I'm not gonna lie and say yes. I don't care about the attention. This is for me." James replied, "Tell your friends and family the truth if they ask, and let the fans get bored. I promise they will after a few days." Gage said he didn't want to make James's life miserable and added, "I'm not playing a Me Too card. I'm not bashing your name. I'm just saying I'm not an essentially, clearing up your tweet." James replied with a long message. 1. You can't play a Me Too card. We did nothing other than kiss, and you were not forced into anything. I have video evidence of you kissing me voluntarily and 11 witnesses that were there and watched the whole thing happen. 2. We talked for 5 months. In that time, I blocked your number or Snapchat a total of 6 times, wanting to move on because I felt as though you were wasting my time, and you, each time, came back to me apologizing and asking to talk again. 3. You FaceTimed me late at night on April 6th and asked me to check Snapchat. You messaged me saying, I have been in denial about a lot of things and need to talk to you. I'm coming to LA. After you did not reply the next day, I blocked your number. You called me from a fake number on April 11th and told me you wanted to see me face to face to figure out your feelings and see how a relationship with me would be in person. You did not say that you were straight and not interested. In fact, yesterday via text messages, you admitted to me in writing that you were bi-curious. 4. You invited yourself to Coachella with me, and I told you at first that you were not welcome, and once you explained that you didn't care about going to the festival and just wanted to talk face to face, I said okay. That is all documented via text. You flew out. We slept together. You held my hand. We cuddled. We kissed. On the last night, you had a headache, and you kept pulling me back to lay on you despite the fact that I was trying to pull away and hang out with my friends. You had your arm around me both in private and in public at Coachella. 5. I let you stay in the house that I paid for my friends and I. I took care of you, got you into Coachella VIP, I bought you a first-class ticket home because you wanted to stay longer, and you borrowed both mine and my friends' clothes because you came with only a backpack. All of these statements are correct, right? Gage said he wasn't reading the message because he didn't want to explain it. Less is more. I'm just saying I'm not a con artist. James said, I'm not asking you to explain anything. Read what I just wrote. Gage replied, 1. You have a video. Sometimes people make actions based on emotions in a spur of the moment. 2. I asked you to unblock me because I was trying because I was curious. 3. I said I was straight in FaceTime but then continued to say I have been curious. 4. You said the only way for you not to cry was to kiss you even though I said I was uncomfortable doing that. 5. Thanks for all that, I said. James said, I did not say you kissing me was the only way I would stop crying. That is a complete lie. You asked me if I was upset because you didn't want to kiss me, and I said I was upset because of many things, and that your mixed messages were now adding to that. After I said that, you kissed me and continued to do so for the next 2 days straight, multiple times voluntarily. Is that correct? Gage replied, I have pictures of you saying you love scandals and it'll only bring you more and bigger, but obviously that won't be brought up. I did ask you, are you crying because I won't kiss you? And you said yes, but I'm not going to say that either. James clarified that it was one of many things he was upset about and said, is the above message what I said true, yes or no? Gage replied, if it's true or false, it's both, and it doesn't matter because that won't be brought up in the video. James said, this is a prime representation of what has been happening for the past 5 months. Me asking you very straightforward questions and you completely avoiding the question. Gage replied, I'm not avoiding anything. I gave you an honest answer like I have been doing, which you said you appreciated my honesty in the text, so you know I'm not a liar. James said, then answer my question. Were all of my statements true or false? Gage replied, I'm going to be super professional about all this. There will be no slander. James said, you avoided my question again. True or false, Gage Gomez? A lot of people were sympathetic to Gage. My main thought is, if Gage really wanted the clout, he would have already posted left and right about himself and James every chance he'd get. Plus, it would have benefited Gage way more to stick around James and string him along to social climb. But poor dude didn't think that way because he seems genuine about figuring out his own sexuality. All the dude wanted was to clear his name after James publicly dragged it through the mud. Gage deserved to come out on his terms if and when he wanted to, and to decide on his sexuality. James throwing money at him shouldn't have had an influence on it. Gage seemed genuinely apologetic in his texts. Some people thought the way James wrote his messages was strange. Definitely seems like James leaked those himself because you can tell by him saying, is that true, yes or no? He is trying to trap Gage into agreeing with him so he could later use the messages as future receipts or legal evidence since he's so obsessed with mentioning his lawyer. He's being really manipulative. Like, who uses actual date stamping for everything that's happened between two people? Most people would just say, back when we just met, or back in April. Like he just wants him to agree with the whole statement or whatever. Very weird behavior. James plays the victim hard in the text chain, constantly using manipulative language and trying to constantly establish a timeline that made Gage look bad in the text. James took it to social media. Gage didn't. Others were disturbed by James' ideas about sexuality. Someone can be bi-curious and ultimately decide they're straight. Bi-curiosity can be a part of the journey to discovering you're gay or bi, but it can also be part of the journey to determining you're straight. Bi-curious doesn't mean gay in progress. Him determining he's straight doesn't mean he wasn't bi-curious, and somehow knew he was straight all along and was just stringing me along? Ew. But some people thought they were both to blame. Gage's story does not add up. In his DMs, his strongest point is that he was curious and went to Coachella to decide if he liked James or not. In the video, however, Gage's strongest point is that he was telling James all the way that he was not interested, but still went to Coachella just for the good time. I don't think that he was a clout chaser. I think that he had some interest. Gage made up his mind and decided he doesn't want James, but still wants Coachella VIP experience. Gage went there knowing that James doesn't want to be friends, and he gave him certain attention. That's on him. So technically, James is the victim here, but even if we will forgive him that he lied to himself and didn't see that was coming, in those DMs, he showed his true colors. I think the one thing that people are refusing to do is look into Gage a little bit more. I hopped into some of the modeling forums, and I am now convinced that Gage knew exactly what he was doing, and I think James knew exactly what role he was playing as well. So my theory, just a theory, is that Gage knew exactly what he was getting himself into. On May 4th, James released a statement on the situation with Gage. He tweeted out, "boys," then attached 2 screenshots with his statement. I will address this now and never again. The boy that I was seen with at Coachella and I talked for 5 months prior to meeting. The day before festival day 1, he called me and told me he wanted to continue to explore his sexuality and meet in person to see what it would be like. He flew himself out, and I invited him to my home with my friends, and we spent the weekend together at the festival, holding hands, cuddling, sleeping in the same bed, and kissing. Nothing more. We had many conversations where I asked him how he was feeling, and he told me that he felt very comfortable with me and my friends, that he was having the most fun weekend of his life, and liked the direction we were going in, but still wasn't sure about his sexuality. Totally fine. When he left, my friends, looking out for me as friends should, told me the many red flags they noticed about him. Simple things such as him not helping clean up, to more serious things like him only holding, kissing me when a celebrity or influencer was around. I gathered my thoughts and expressed how I was feeling, and he apologized for upsetting my friends, but not for upsetting me. He then told me he had no feelings for me. In that moment, I was not upset that he didn't like me back. Rather, I was upset that I ignored red flags and wasted 5 months of my life. And also, because of the timing of Coachella and everything that happened, I felt taken advantage of. I impulsively replied to a fan on Twitter who was excited about my new relationship and refuted it by calling him a con artist, which was completely wrong of me. I deleted it, but it was too late. I take full responsibility for starting this whole mess, and I've already apologized to this person in private. That one tweet, however, led to him making several Instagram stories, Instagram lives, tweets, Instagram story swipe ups to those tweets, and not one but 2 YouTube videos about me. He left out many details and accused me of pressuring him, which is a blatant lie, which has painted a false image of me being a predator. I will not stand for this or take it lightly. I would never, have never, and will never pressure a guy to do anything. Everything that happened between him and I was 100% consensual. In the 5 months of talking, he never once said he was straight. If he did, I would have never continued talking to him for so long. I am well aware that you cannot change someone's sexuality. I do think he was curious, and I do think he saw an opportunity and took it. I don't think he did this with malicious intent, and I don't wish him any negativity at all. This has taught me a very valuable lesson about people I allow myself to get close to. Trust me, I know this was handled poorly. I wish more than anything I could go back in time and stop myself from tweeting, but now I have to deal with the consequences. This situation hurt me in private, but now it's hurting me publicly too. There's a lot more to the story, but there's no point in elaborating. This is my truth. I know who I am as a person, and I trust that my fans do as well. I am taking responsibility for my side of this, and can only hope that the other person will as well. I am moving on now, thank you. Someone replied to James's statement, "Now you're just dragging it on." James replied, "It's been 2 weeks of him and other people dragging this on. I have stayed silent. This is my side. I'm moving on now." On May 1st, Tana Mojo went on Instagram Live and started talking about the James and Gage situation. Tana said she was there for the events Gage was talking about, and she said things didn't go down the way Gage said they did. She said,
"Yeah, someone made a video about James. It is just so far from the truth. And I know that because I was there for the things that the person has described me. Like, obviously, if James came to me and was like, someone's lying about me, I would believe him. He's my best friend. But I think it hits differently when it's like you were there for the moment someone's lying about online."
On May 2nd, Gage tweeted, "Sociopathic tendencies? Tana Mojo, I genuinely could not even jokingly bring myself to believe that you'd ever be qualified to determine something of that nature. James and I are in contact now, finally handling this as mature adults would. No need for the unnecessary DMs." Attached was a screenshot from a DM conversation between Gage and Tana. Gage wrote, "It was nice meeting you though, and my message said, I hope you're doing okay. I see you're also going through a lot." Tana replied, "It's very sad to see that you're prioritizing being out right now while you're literally ruining someone's reputation for no reason. So sad." Gage said, "Unfortunately, I'm already out and would like a clear mind when talking to you. I know you may be unhappy with my decision. Hopefully you understand." Tana replied, "Appreciate that, but I don't really think this direction has much to do with you and I. I feel like by assessing the situation from an outside perspective, I can tell that you possess sociopathic tendencies, have a lack of emotion, because anyone with an amount of emotion will not be able to do this to someone and feel okay." Gage tweeted, "I literally only met you for a solid 2 minutes and then you left. On May 4th, Tana replied to Gage's first tweet. I watched you lead on and kiss my friend for a whole weekend, and when he realized you got scared and made a video lying and accusing him of being a predator. Legit watching you lie like this and get away with it breaks my heart. He's a person too. You and I know the truth. Gage said, 1. I met you for 2 minutes and you ran back to Artist. 2. You were literally never there besides that quick moment. And I talked to Brad, not you. 3. Show me where I said predator or made the accusation. 4. The clownery of you to get involved, because me and James are ending it right now. James joined the conversation and tweeted, ending it right now would mean that you were actually responding. Let's not play more games. Gage replied, you know I was agreeing to put an end to the because we agreed yesterday, and you and I are totally fine now. But once again, Tana had to run her mouth. Things would be so much easier for everyone if she had a muzzle on. James said, things would be easier if you address things in private instead of making up lies on YouTube and tweeting me instead of calling me. Gage replied, but I wasn't the first one to bring my emotions to social media. Then, on May 5th, Gage tweeted out a note titled, Girls, I hear you. He wrote, all the signs were there and I missed every one of them because I was under the influence of this individual. He managed to successfully switch the narrative on me and made me into a person I know in my heart I could never be. Unfortunately, we see these things a lot when it comes to manipulative relationships. I had given him an ultimatum. I asked him to clear my name and end the situation in a way that would benefit us both. My name would be cleared and he would be able to move on from this scandal, just as he does with everyone he finds himself mixed into. He denied. He not only attempted to silence me after, but he also threatened me about what would happen if I spoke up. The stigma around bisexual and bi-curious individuals is what warranted him to so effortlessly take advantage of me. This situation has opened my eyes to quite a few things, and I've realized that anyone can fall victim to the pressure and manipulation of the people they trust, no matter their gender. The moment he realized that he could not persuade me into forgetting my truth and turning me into the person he wanted me to be, I was a con artist, I was a clout chaser, I was a piece of similar to how women are described when they are victims of abuse. This does not go to say that this person abused me, because that is not the case. I was harassed and I was pressured, but I was also naive, and I wish I would have been able to read the signs that were so obviously in my path. This is where I say, girls and women who have discovered me through this situation, no matter what you think of me, I stand by you. I am lucky enough to have made it out of this situation with my mental state unscathed, but unfortunately, that is not the case for people who deal with these kinds of things on a daily basis, a grander scale, and don't have supporters to help them through it all. I am not used to this kind of attention, and for a lack of better words, it me up, so I could not imagine how women and girls could possibly go through this kind of thing alone. I want to make it abundantly clear, this individual that I speak of is not a predator. He just made a few wrong decisions along the course of our time together, as did I. If anything, he helped me find myself and a cause that I am dedicated to. As a white, cis, het man who has experienced this firsthand, I know the part I play and the impact I have. I hear you, and I'm here to help. Some people had mixed feelings about Gage's message. I feel for Gage. I think he's trying to stand up for himself and explain what happened, but he's kind of digging himself into a deeper hole. I can't imagine how hard it would be to have someone famous with so much influence publicly trashing your name. It's time for Gage to stop addressing it and move on before people start to turn completely against him, because the more he tries to stand up for himself, the more people who don't understand the situation assume he's seeking attention. This whole situation is a mess, but I'm choosing to believe that Gage is expressing himself clumsily here, but is well-intentioned. James is an a-hole who thinks only his viewpoint matters. Gage seems like a nice guy. I'm sure he was a little dazzled by James's fame. Doesn't make him a con man. But other people thought Gage was trying to get more attention. He needs to provide proof if he is going to say he was pressured or manipulated. The text that came out clearly showed that James was simply confused as to why things panned out the way they did. I think he needs to be careful when comparing his situation to others without proof of manipulation. He isn't the same as others that are gaslighted by partners or worse. Honestly, at this point, I feel like Gage is just abusing his limelight in the media, making his 15 minutes of fame last way longer than it needs to be. Then, a tweet from someone who claimed to be one of James's high school classmates went viral. The person quote tweeted a Pop Alarms tweet talking about the Gage situation and added, "Throwback to when James Charles catfished the entire soccer team in high school pretending to be a girl so we could get pics, so glad to know he's still predatory. After the tweet blew up, the person made a thread with 3 more tweets. There's a lot of people asking me for tea on James Charles, but I don't really have any. I went to high school with James Charles. I don't know him well, but he was in one of my classes and has always been a bully and a predator. This was something that my entire school knew about, among other things he did, such as bullying other students with his Instagram account right when it started to get a big following. I don't want to expose him because I don't have enough information to do so, but everybody I know has been trying to speak up for years now, and it's only now that a tweet went viral that you're all listening. I hope that people finally do start to listen and take what he's doing seriously. On May 10th, Tati published a video called Bye Sister, where she spoke about her relationship with James and said she no longer wanted to be associated with him. In the video, she talked about several instances she witnessed or heard about where he behaved inappropriately around straight men. She recalled a phone conversation where he told her about something that happened in Seattle on her birthday.
The last phone conversation that James Charles and I had, he said some things telling me about a situation that happened in Seattle at my birthday, and it literally made me want to vomit. Oh my God, you tried to trick a straight man into thinking he's gay yet again, and somehow you're the victim.
She said his behavior and jokes about straight men were disgusting.
You know, it's really disgusting to manipulate someone's sexuality, especially when they are still emerging into adulthood and don't quite have everything figured out. You are using your fame, your power, your money to play with people's emotions. You're threatening to ruin them. You're threatening to embarrass them. And you're doing that to have them behave sexually in your favor, even if they're straight. And you know what? That's not okay. That behavior's not okay. Whether you're a woman, a man, gay, straight, bi, whatever sexual orientation you are, that is your personal call, and it is not someone else's to take. It's not someone else's to play with. It's not someone else's to mess with. And how dare you laugh about it and make meme after meme and retweet and this and that and I love straight boys and make it a joke.
Tati also said she told him to stop that behavior and get help.
Eye to eye, had enough respect for you and love for you and care for you to tell you to go and get some help. I told you that this was not good and that you could have your career completely destroyed.
She then told a story about when she had dinner with his parents at her house.
I was shocked that James even then was saying to his dad that every man is a little bit gay and that there's no such thing as a straight man. And, you know, his dad's like, "You're wrong, James, you're wrong." If someone who is very masculine and has been with women decides that they're bisexual, that they want to explore, that's fine, like, so be it. But again, it's just like, it's not yours to take.
And spoke about what he said to the waiter at Tati's birthday dinner.
And you did it at my birthday dinner. And I made excuses for you then. You were talking in detail about things you wanted to do to the waiter. And when I said, "James, he's straight," your response was, "Doesn't matter, I'm a celebrity." So freaking gross. And you said that in front of my family. In front of my childhood friends. I had to call every one of them up the next morning and apologize on your behalf.
That seems to be the end of the situation for now. So, what's the big issue? The fluidity and reality of human sexuality. There's a lot of misinformation about human sexuality going on throughout this story, but the 2 biggest issues are bicurious versus bisexual, and how sexuality can change during your life. Firstly, is bicuriosity a real thing? Yes. Alfred Kinsey, a pioneering sex researcher who James talked about in his video with Jeff Wittick, theorized that sexuality is not entirely binary, and there are a lot more bisexual people than you may think. In 1948, Alfred Kinsey first published what is now known as the Kinsey scale, a scale that puts people on a spectrum from exclusively straight, 0, to exclusively gay, 6. Kinsey's team interviewed thousands of people about their sexual histories, and research showed that sexual behavior, thoughts, and feelings toward the same or opposite sex were not always consistent across time. Instead of labeling someone as gay, straight, or bisexual, researchers would assign them a number on the Kinsey scale. Go Ask Alice, an advice website run by several health professionals from Columbia University, says most humans experience experience erotic desires, act on those desires, and have relationships in a social context. Kinsey's research showed that bisexuals had more sexual experiences with one gender or another depending on their social environment. In other words, factors that we might not think of as sexual per se, like political and social ties, can in fact influence those who we choose to be with and whether we identify ourselves as straight, gay, bi, queer, etc. And your sexual identity can change throughout your life. Psychology professor Lisa Diamond published a book called Sexual Fluidity, where she wrote about her research on 80 non-straight women that took place over a period of 10 years. During her research, Diamond found that a significant number of the women had reported changing their sexual orientation over that period of time. Why? Because they fell in love with someone of the opposite sex. The women weren't unhappy with being lesbians, but they felt compelled to relabel their sexual orientation when they fell in love with someone of a different gender. Research has shown that men are somewhat less flexible in their sexuality. However, Diamond and other researchers have compiled numerous case studies of gay men who spent years feeling and acting fully and comfortably homosexual, only then to fall unexpectedly in love with a heterosexual woman. In other words, it's completely normal to not be entirely gay or entirely straight, and it's not unusual to be attracted to a different gender as you get older. To say the situation is messy is the understatement of the year. James and Gage have put out their own versions of what happened during their FaceTime calls and Coachella weekend, and there definitely have been some contradictions. But it's important to remember that the only people who really know what happened are James Charles and Gage Gomez. All we know are the snippets they choose to share with the rest of the world. So before anyone joins Team James or Team Gage, we have to ask ourselves, what do we really know about this situation, and what are they not telling us? What do you think about this situation? Let me know in the comments down below.